Hello! Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Brian, and this is Pumpkin. We're Recapacitai's warders. You may be wondering, where's Recapacitai? We want to post more videos as the show gets closer. We've got to talk about what's up with the show, but it's hard for Recapa to take those videos on. Rolling out of bed and getting dressed is an ordeal for her. So for now, Pumpkin and I will handle the Wheel of Time news, and Recapa will handle our Wheel of Time recaps. But enough about her, we have news to discuss. You want down? You can have down. She wants down. Entertainment Weekly has a Wheel of Time feature in their September issue. Rafe had things to say. The trailer could drop any day now. Let's get into it.
Who loves long books and tiny warders? Who's so over the Amerlin's orders? Who loves making every novice cry? Recapacitai.
Oh, that's me! This video has very mild spoilers. If you've read past book 1, I honestly think you're fine, but I don't know what you consider a spoiler. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but you have been warned. Let's talk about this Entertainment Weekly article. This is the September issue. Halle Berry is on the cover, and way up top, there's a heading in small font. First look, is the Wheel of Time TV's next Game of Thrones? I know there are Wheel of Time fans who get annoyed when it's compared to Game of Thrones. I get that, it's a totally different story and the comparison feels basic, but when it comes to marketing and publicity, comparisons to Game of Thrones are a good thing. I hope the media talks about the Wheel of Time as the next Game of Thrones. Not because it's an accurate comparison, but because it'll get people to watch it. Let's talk about these photos. I'll go into detail, but let's skim through them. First, we get this 2-page photo of the Emond's Field 5, Lan and Moiraine. Yes! The next 2 pages have a smaller photo of Lan carrying Moiraine in Shadar Logoth. Awesome. There's also this chart comparing the Wheel of Time's length to the length of other fantasy series. Obviously, the Wheel of Time spans all the way across both pages. It's a lot of fun. We'll come back to that. Page 5 has 2 pictures. Alanna, Kareen, and others escorting Logain in a cage. I can't wait to talk about this one. It's my favorite. And finally, we have a lovely picture of Egwene and Rand. The fandom has discovered that when Wheel of Time pictures drop online, there are interesting notes in the file metadata. As Nameless mentioned in our last Tarvalin After Dark episode, that's how we learned about Hightower's death. If you hadn't heard, we're pretty sure Hightower goes down with his fairy, which I love. Was that a spoiler? I don't know. The show hasn't even started. It is known that fans look at the metadata. You might expect What on Prime to crack down on what's hidden there. But the metadata for these EW photos gave us lots of amazing clues. I'm not saying these metadata notes are leaked deliberately, not necessarily, but I think Amazon's okay with fans sleuthing things out on this level, which is fun. All this metadata talk brings me to the first photo. My initial reactions. This feels to me like it's right before Shadar Logoth. I'm wrong. This is episode 6, The Flame of Tarvalin. The metadata says, exterior meadow / waygate. Moiraine arrives at the waygate, met by Loyal and all the others. Who is the dragon? That explains why Tom isn't there. Still seems like they should be on their horses though. I think this was a photo shoot taken on that set and not from actual footage. Let's talk about how our main characters look. This is the first time we've seen the gang all together in their full glory. It overwhelms me to see them side by side. I can't believe this picture exists and this show is happening. But enough of my feelings. Let's talk facts. Nynaeve's braid is huge and fierce and I love it. I'm so stoked about Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve, I can't freaking wait. Zoe, I'm a bit obsessed with you, but I promise when you're a guest on Wheel Talk, it won't be weird. Or it might be. Who knows? You gotta come on Wheel Talk and find out. Moving on to Matt. Some fans are surprised by Matt's facial hair. I've also read and heard comments that he looks like he's in his ruby-hilted dagger phase, meaning he looks worn out and sketchy. I agree that he's probably in his dagger phase at this point, but I don't think he looks like it. He looks like Matt to me, but hotter. I'm gonna stop crushing on the cast members because I could go on and on. They will all be on Wheel Talk at some point, and I don't want them to feel weird. Next is Daniel Henney as Lan. Fans have been speculating about his weapons. I'm not an expert in weapons, so I can't help you there. He looks great though. I love the Hidori. Daniel Henney's gonna be amazing. Next is Moiraine. In the physical magazine, Moiraine is right in the middle where the crease is. The crease swallows part of her. Her left arm is on a different page from the rest of her. I just want to say, how dare they? I'm kidding, we love Entertainment Weekly for doing this feature. Moiraine isn't wearing the Kisera, but we know from Rafe's comments that it's in the show. Kisera or not, she looks like Moiraine. I am so excited for Rosamund's Moiraine. Speaking of excited, Madeline Madden as Egwene is next to her, close to the center. I love that for her. For those of you who don't normally watch Wheel Talk, we stan Egwene here. And also, why don't you watch Wheel Talk? What's wrong with you? Madeline, you look like Egwene, meaning you look mad fierce, and I'm obsessed with you. Hey, it's not weird unless you make it weird. Next is Marcus Rutherford looking magnificent as Perrin. He really looks like Perrin. I'm obsessed with everyone, and I need to stop being creepy, so let's just move on. We finally come to Yosha Stradowski as Rand. It's interesting they placed him at the end of the line. It's almost like they don't want us to think he's too important. We'll come back to it. I think he looks good. I will say, his coat looks modern to me. It looks like something from an LL Bean catalog. The costumes are fantastic. I'm just being an asshole. Moiraine's carpool looks fierce. I couldn't be happier. Let's move on to the Shadar Logoth photo. Here's the magazine caption. Moiraine enters Shadar Logoth with her bodyguard, or warder, Lan. This caption may not be totally accurate. According to the metadata, Lan is exiting a temple with Moiraine and racing down the street with his warhorse. It does look like they're leaving Shadar Logoth rather than entering, but there's no warhorse. I don't see Mandarb, which suggests these metadata clues refer to the larger scene and not just one image. Audition tapes suggest Moiraine gets wounded at Shadar Logoth. In the book, she's just exhausted, but it looks like the show may raise the stakes with an injury. I dig it. Let's move on to the Logain photo, which I consider the most informative one of the bunch. The magazine's caption says, after channeling the One Power, Logain is captured by Olanna and Kareen. This is so cool. This confirms that Olanna and Kareen are with the Aes Sedai capturing Logain. We suspected as much for Olanna, but Kareen so some fans thought she would only be in flashbacks. Not the case. Kareen is part of the main timeline, kicking ass as Egwene. I was tempted to jump to all sorts of conclusions based on this photo. One of my first knee-jerk reactions was, where's Liandrin? I expected her to be a part of this group. But of course this isn't the entire party that captured Logain. Liandrin is probably a part of this group, she's just not in this picture. But there are other things worth noting. First of all, the very fact that this picture of Logain is featured. We were told Logain would have a bigger role in the show. When I heard that, I immediately thought, okay, they're gonna set us up to think he's the Dragon Reborn. By the end of book 1, it's pretty much confirmed that Rand is the dragon. The Eye of the World suggests it might be Matter Perrin, but I never found that plausible. It's obviously Rand. Setting up Logain as an alternate dragon is way more believable. If they lean into that, Rand being the dragon could be a twist. Seeing this photo in their marketing strengthens that likelihood. The show will want us to think Logain is the Dragon Reborn, and I love that. I am fascinated to see 2 greens up front and what looks like 2 reds following at a distance. The greens are probably holding the shield, but it kinda looks like they're in charge. I can't wait to see the dynamic of reds and greens on this mission. Who's in charge, the reds or the greens? How many of each get sent on a mission like this? The books don't really show what normally goes down when Aes Sedai capture a male channeler. I'm especially excited about Logain's capture. It'll be something new. I'm here for it. One more thing. Fans noticed what might be armor on Olanna's right arm. It could be a bracer. I see it. I never imagined Green's sisters wearing armor. If you're fighting channelers, does armor even help? But it makes sense. Non-channelers will also be attacking. Armor's a good idea. Anyway, I'm beyond excited to see the Green Aja doing their thing. Our final photo is of Rand and Egwene. I love it. It reminds me of that leaked audition audition script where Rand asks Egwene about an initiation ceremony. Egwene won't tell Rand about it, and there's a vibe of them drifting apart. This photo feels like it's from that scene. Pumpkin, you better not be chewing that. She really wants to play. We gotta finish our video. Pumpkin has a lot of thoughts about this, but she's just being shy. The metadata says Egwene joins Rand. He knows what she's going to do. Okay, you can go down. Fans predict this is about Egwene deciding to be Nynaeve's apprentice, which means she'd eventually leave Emond's Field to be a wisdom elsewhere. The picture doesn't tell us anything new, but it's gorgeous. I'm excited to see these relationships develop on the show. I don't think relationships are the Wheel of Time's strong suit, but I think the show has an opportunity to improve on that, and I'm excited for it. The article itself doesn't reveal much, but I will summarize. I've already smudged this. Damn it. An exclusive first look at the Wheel of Time, Amazon Prime Video's upcoming adaptation of Robert Jordan's epic fantasy novels. What are you doing? Leave the trash can alone. Okay, she's laying down next to the camera. Good girl. An exclusive first look at the Wheel of Time, Amazon Prime's upcoming adaptation of Robert Jordan's epic fantasy novels. The first page of text compares the Wheel of Time to other popular fantasy series. Rafe calls it a bridge between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. I love what he says here. It was also one of the first to dive into multiple POV characters, so you're following an ensemble, with each of them having their own agendas and approaches to everything. That's always felt to me like the missing piece of the fantasy literature landscape that hasn't been brought to TV or film yet. Rafe is the best. The article praises Wheel of Time for its powerful women, and then it goes into Moiraine's role. Yas. If you've read the series, it's nothing you don't know. And we get this fun chart comparing the Wheel of Time's length to other fantasy series. To sum this up, the Wheel of Time has over 4 million words. These are approximations, but it's about 2.5 times as long as A Song of Ice and Fire, which to be fair is unfinished, 7.5 times as long as The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and about 12 times as long as His Dark Materials or The Chronicles of Narnia. Harry Potter isn't on the chart, but I looked it up out of curiosity. The Wheel of Time is 4 times as long as Harry Potter. This chart might actually deter some people from reading The Wheel of Time, but having finished the books, I think it's fun. It makes me feel accomplished. Maybe that's sad. The last page refers to Watt fans as rabid, which I have no problem with. It's true. I am definitely one of the rabid Watt fans they talk about. And we get some great quotes from Rafe. We literally built Shadar Logoth from scratch just for 15 minutes of airtime because it's that important to the series. I try to stick to the spine and the heart of the books and bring that to the screen. If I can successfully do that, the story and the characters will sell themselves. And that's pretty much the article. Nothing we didn't know, but it's thrilling to have this in a major publication. I love everything Rafe Judkins says. Rafe did a Q&A about this feature, which I have to talk about before we wrap up. Rafe was asked about Matt's beard, and he replied, "We aged up the Emond's Field 5 from the books because sometimes TV shows with a bunch of 17-year-olds as leads feel more like YA, and Wheel of Time isn't YA. I'm relieved that we're not going to pretend these characters are younger than they appear." Rafe was also asked, will the World of Dreams be on the show? He responded, how could you do the show without it? I love that because a showrunner who doesn't love these books might disagree. You probably could reconfigure the story to eliminate the World of Dreams if you wanted to. Rafe's conviction that that's not an option makes me feel great. Teleron Riyadh is a huge part of this world. Maybe you could cut it, but it would be a different world. Rafe wants this to feel like the Wheel of Time. Thank you, Rafe. We love you. Keep it up. Finally, get this. Someone asked Rafe, can we expect to see any of the Forsaken in Season 1? Rafe replied, it depends on how much you know about the Forsaken. To me, that translates as, yes, there will be Forsaken in Season 1. But it won't be obvious. The Forsaken will be undercover, and they want us guessing. I'm so into that. I really hope the show gives us new reveals about who's an undercover Forsaken. To conclude, a Wheel of Time trailer is going to drop any day now. Rafe's JordanCon message promised it would be out by the end of summer. Sarah Nakamura recently teased us on Twitter asking when we define the end of summer, which makes everyone think it's coming soon. Honestly, I'm anxious to post this video because I worry the trailer will drop before it's up. Pumpkin and I are on the trailer lookout. I am sure we will be back to discuss it very soon. Thank you for watching. Huge thanks to all of our patrons. This episode was brought to you by patrons. If you can like the video and subscribe, that would be fabulous. It helps the channel. If you're new to Wheel Talk, you need to watch all of our videos. They're fierce. You're welcome. I do a podcast with Nameless and Jess the Amerlin called Tarvalin After Dark. If you're not listening to that, what are you doing? Enough of this episode. I've had enough. Until next time, walk in the light and keep it wheel.